They went back in time and saved Hitler's life, and the Monopoly guy lost his monocle.
Yeah, I mean, that's just that, dude. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
So a couple potential theories that people have about the Mandela effect: parallel universe or multiverse theory. So this is the idea that at one point we were in a different universe where these things were true, and our universe was severed. We switched over somewhere, split. Or there was some kind of leak from a different universe, and now the facts are not the same anymore.
My problem with this theory is like, calm down. All right, you know what I mean? Like, our universe is split. You know, our timeline, our universe split off into another universe, and like the only thing that changed was, hey, no more cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom logo.
Right.
Like, I get, and here's the thing, I'm gonna sound like a fucking buzzkill here. I get why that's like a fun thing to say. I get that probably the people that sort of perpetuate this theory don't actually really believe it. It's just one of those fun little things to be like, oh, well, what if it's where we split off, parallel universe? But come on, be honest with yourself. Just be real for a second. I've had Reddit for a long time, and I have been on r/glitch in the Matrix, right? Dude, biggest fucking like fan fiction subreddit of all time. People will write fan fictions about their lives, and they'll be like, "Oh, I died today, but I'm still here." Shut up, dude. It's fun to write those stories. It's fun to read them. You know, r/confessions is fake as fuck, but I love reading those. But at some point, we all have to kind of like. We don't have to admit it out loud. We can just save our pride here. But we all have to kind of admit to some extent to ourselves, or maybe others if we feel so bold enough to, that like we don't believe this stuff, right? Like, come on. Like, we're not all on, you know, r/confessions, you know, standing up to somebody with the perfect comeback and having the whole bus clap in response. You know, come on. Like we can be like, oh, dude, that happened. But in our heads, we know what really happened.
Well, since you brought it up, there's also the simulated reality hypothesis. That's that obviously life is a simulation, and these things get changed because there's a glitch in the matrix, or I don't know, whoever's running the simulation, they just tweak the details.
I mean, I've already started it, so I'll just continue to be a fucking buzzkill, because why not? When I was in high school and shit like that, when I was younger, the sort of like, oh, like, dude, this could all be a simulation, like sort of like grandiose, you know, massive, you know, reality bending conspiracy theories were fun. And I was like, and I, you know, indulged in them a bit. And I'm like, oh, that's just like fun. It's fun to think about that way. But the older I get, the more I realize that it's kind of like a nothing conversation, because you go, oh, dude, what if this is a simulation? And then I go, yeah, what if? There's nothing to like really dive into there other than the initial question. Because if we're living in a simulation, we have no way to prove it. We have no way to really tell. There's nothing that'll kind of maybe put us on to the idea, put us on the case to let us know that. So it's just like, dude, what if it's a parallel universe? And it's just like, dude, what if it is, man? Like, okay. But like I said, I'm kind of just being a dick to people who like to have fun. So
yeah, these things are not worth pursuing because they're just totally unprovable. But I mean, they're fun thought experiments. And it's fun to point at a Mandela effect and say, oh, what if simulated reality or time travel shit or something, you know, whatever. That's fun. But
I like the idea of somebody wielding and possessing the power of time travel, but using it for entirely mundane agendas. I'm going to travel back in time, and I'm going to change that. I'm going to change one letter in the Star Wars script.
Well, maybe it's a butterfly effect. You know, whatever they did in their time travel, well, it took away Pikachu's black tail.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they went back in time.
They went back in time and saved Hitler's life, and the Monopoly guy lost his monocle.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. We got to be careful. See, time travel is a dangerous thing.
So obviously, we don't believe any of these crazy pie in the sky theories about the Mandela effect. Except for this one, which I do believe.
Okay.
This is morphic resonance.
Everyone, that's always what it is, isn't it? None of that shit is real, except the one that I believe in.
That's right, and I'll tell you why, Mel. I'm going to sell you on this theory.
Dude, please do. I'll have an open mind going forward.
So morphic resonance is proposed by biologist Rupert Sheldrake, and it suggests that memories and behaviors can be shared across a collective consciousness. According to this theory, the Mandela effect could arise from shifts or disturbances in this collective memory field, causing groups of people to share altered false memories. Now that sounds pretty fucking wild, right?
It does. That sounds very out there.
So
I suppose.
let me just get personal for a moment, I suppose. I believe, not like verified, but I believe personally in the idea of a collective consciousness or unconsciousness. And I believe, based on things like the Mandela effect existing and deja vu existing and things like instinct and the idea of things, of humans and other organisms being able to learn things more easily after others have, to be like evidence towards the idea of this greater. But as far as I'm concerned, the idea that the Mandela effect exists kind of makes me think that this is real.
I think when it comes to conversations like these where you are speculating upon something that at this moment in time is not, very provable, I think it's become kind of harder for me to like latch onto that as a concept to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know if I'm like, oh, I only believe I only believe the facts, and that's a good thing. Or I don't know if I'm like, man, I wish maybe I was a little more open to some things. Because like this idea of morphic resonance is cool. It's really cool. But my brain has such a hard time latching onto something that I can't prove.
And that's usually how I feel about things. It's more like I've chosen to interpret things that I've experienced in this way, because this is what just makes sense to me. Now, I'm not claiming this is the correct answer and I know the real thing. I could be totally fucking wrong. And
the thing is like, if that works for you, then like, does it really matter if it's right or wrong? Like if you're interpreting it that way and that kind of like helps you, come to an understanding of the world around you and yourself, does it really matter if it's wrong?
I just think that from what I've seen and experienced, that there is some kind of collective mind that every living thing shares. And maybe this is not, the exact answer to it. In some way, I feel like that is what's going on here.
All right.
So that's why I wanted to highlight this one, just because the Mandela effect kind of fits into that.
I agree. I think it does kind of fit neatly into this sort of like...
But the Mandela effect could also just be a total, like, mental human brain stupid kind of thing.
It could also be that. That's the other option.
So we've got some more, like, down-to-earth theories as well, or explanations for it. We've got false memories. So obviously, we've proven countless times that people's memories are totally flawed. And memory doesn't work like replaying back a video of something that actually occurred. It's a series of neurons kind of refiring, and your brain basically makes up, like, and fills in the blanks of whatever you think you remember. Like, most of your fucking memories are totally inaccurate, or like details about them are just totally wrong.
Your brain is very good at filling in the gaps. Doesn't mean that they're correct gaps, but they're being filled in.
There's a lot of guesswork. So when somebody asks you, hey, did the Monopoly guy ever have a monocle? Well, you're more than likely going to have a false memory about that.
Because you're making it up. Like you're like, oh, I don't know. And then your brain's like, well, this is something that you don't know. So we're going to have to fill in the gaps here.
And when your brain fills in gaps like that, well, we call that confabulation. And
that's a fun word.
You see this thing, and it also has this thing. So this third thing must also be the truth.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pattern recognition kind of as well. You just kind of confabulate your memories based on other memories. Like you might remember that somebody, remember that one time we did this thing and you were there, and they say, I wasn't fucking there. I don't remember that.
You ever learn a word and you're like, oh, I can't wait to use that in a conversation next time. It's confabulation. Oh, new word that I've learned. Dude, can't wait to just like casually bring that up in conversation. Can't wait to casually use that word in conversation like I've always known.
Right.
What I meant. Yeah. And then if somebody's like, oh, what does that mean? I'm like, oh, you don't know? Oh, I just can't wait.
Anyway, next, another more grounded explanation is social influence. And obviously this is just, you believe things that other people might say, or things that we've all kind of agreed upon. We all kind of agreed that Pikachu is a black spotted tail, or it's the Berenstain Bears. I think we all agreed on that.
it's just a lot easier to sort of blindly subscribe to an idea if a bunch of other people do. I think it kind of plays into the same thing as like the bystander effect. You know, nobody steps in because everyone just kind of like assumes somebody else will. It's just kind of everybody kind of feeling more comfortable in doing something because everybody else is. Oh, I feel comfortable not stepping in because nobody else is. I'm sure somebody will take care of it.
It's easy to hear misinformation secondhand and just go with it.
I mean, I see so many people on like a website like Twitter where somebody will say something very confidently, or say somebody on TikTok. Well, somebody on TikTok will say something very confidently, and because they said it confidently, everybody sees that and just assumes it's fact.
Or it's like text on a picture. Man, that's undisputable proof right there.
Yeah, people will present, I mean, the most fucking secondhand anecdotal, not like substantiated evidence of all time or statement of all time, and people will just believe it because people are naturally trusting of other people. And so now you have a fucking viral tweet with like 90,000 likes that is just completely fucking wrong, and a bunch of people just being like, okay, that's the truth.
Yeah.
And so everyone just like goes, because why would you question it? Why would you for a lot of people it's like, why would you like take time out of your day to see if that tweet was correct? They wouldn't lie about something like that. Yes, they would. I mean, fucking literally yesterday, I saw a tweet that was like, once again being like, dude, Shelley Duvall was not acting in The Shining. That was just her actually being traumatized. No, that's not true. Stop saying that.
That's just misinformation that's been spread so many times that it just becomes the truth.
Yeah, people just assume that it's fact because I've heard this a bunch of times. It must be true. No.
Yeah.
She's a good actor. That's what it was.
There's a million examples of that kind of thing. And so obviously that can create instances of the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
And lastly,
100%.
We have priming and expectation. And this is, of course, where your brain is expecting, or you've been led to believe that something is a certain way. And then when you come to realize that's not the case, well, that defies your expectations of it. And then you're like more shocked that it is that way. It's like you maybe haven't even seen it before. Maybe you've never seen the fucking Monopoly guy. And I keep going back to that dumbass example. But like if you've never seen the guy and somebody tells you he never had a monocle, you may be like, yeah, he did. Yeah, he had a monocle.
Yeah, he did. No, I vividly remember that.
Rich guys with top hats, they have monocles. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, that's like fucking like rule number 1 of just knowing shit.
Subscribe for more videos and shorts from The Long Couch. Follow the link in the description below to stream full episodes on Spotify. And keep up with Carl and Mel on Instagram and Twitter.